Oh, that clock. It's winding down, man. Literally less than 24 hours from the time this goes up on YouTube, we'll be in the home stretch. It's the end game. Literally the end game. Kinda wanted to take this opportunity and reflect, really reflect on this whole Smash speculatory process. To me, it feels a little surreal in some ways with this being the end. We've been doing this heavy speculation, discussion process for a literal decade at this point. You guys know this, right? I don't want to tread too much ground I've talked about in my last Smash video, the one where I discuss where Smash might go after Ultimate, but I'm gonna make this video be the one where it's more melancholy / nostalgic. I'm gonna sound like an old man looking back most of this video, basically, while also discussing this potential final character again. I want to really set the mood, really set that tone of us reaching that quote-unquote final destination. But just sit there and think for a bit. You know Smash has been on a character and newcomer grind for essentially 10 years, right? E3 2011 confirmed us getting a new Smash Bros. Without Sakurai even knowing it was going to be developed, eventually leading us to getting 2 different versions of a Smash game on 2 different systems in 2014. Those systems getting DLC characters for over a year. The tail end of that game's DLC around late 2015 to early 2016. Also sharing development with another new Smash game for the Switch, which ended up being Ultimate. Us not knowing about it until 2018 and being released within that year as well, and with this final character coming presumably tomorrow, if not this week, marking Ultimate's DLC lifespan with almost a 3-year runtime towards the end of 2021, we've been getting Smash almost non-stop for almost a decade. Sakurai, Bandai Namco, Sora Limited, and the rest of the team, they've at least been developing Smash and adding more characters for a decade straight. Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate really pushed the series so damn hard over a constant rate of time. It's really insane thinking about it, and how often these people kept working on these games straight. But it did pay off in so many ways. Obviously, these are people we're talking about. I'm not going to act like some overt, devout worshipper / cultist who's trying to spread the goodwill of a Sakurai Masahiro as if he's a deity. We're in the endgame, but he's not Tony Stark at the end of Endgame, bro. Come back down for a second, brother. But Sora Limited, again, Bandai Namco, Sakurai, I share a lot of respect towards Sakurai and a lot of these devs behind these games. All the third parties that cooperated with the game too. Sakurai's still one of my favorite gaming directors in the industry. And I know with Ultimate speculation in particular, particularly, again, with the DLC, people have gotten very tense, very aggressive or sharp towards others. It's been getting more annoying taking part in it. You might get what I mean. There are always people shooting down your idea of a character / shooting down your logic of a character in favor of their own logic or bias. These character wars, people may feud over, some characters sparking some sort of controversy over a small handful of their fans doing something outlandish or infamous. It'll get people to vilify that character solely from those 2 individuals. It's become a whole other beast to worry about the longer speculations carried on. But even amidst that, between Smash 4 and Ultimate character speculation and hype, I don't think it was that bad. I know with Ultimate speculation in particular, I've highlighted some trends and patterns with how annoying, and I guess you could say toxic, character speculation has become as of late, with how much bigger Smash has gotten both as a series and within people's minds. But still, it wouldn't always reap those results around every single corner. We still had a bunch of hype reactions, a lot of warm welcomes towards a lot of characters between both games, a lot of people coming together, getting excited, coming together, recognizing, hey, you like this game I like? Yo, let's be friends. It's easy to paint Smash fans as these ungrateful brats, these toxic naysayers, these whiny, ungrateful, spoiled children. How they don't grasp how monumental or fantastic of a game or how fantastic of a crossover / celebration of gaming Ultimate is. But I feel like a majority realistically do. There's always going to be some people who dislike every character in Ultimate, but you could say that regarding any specific character, stage, mechanic, game in the entire industry, not even just Smash Brothers. And between how much bigger Smash has gotten, the double dozens of millions of units shipped, the massive collective community of one of Nintendo's biggest series ever, I do genuinely believe most are very happy and satisfied to a considerable length with Ultimate and Smash Brothers. The number of characters it has, the kinds of characters it has, bringing back every character. Purely from a character's perspective, I don't think there is as massive of a swath of people willing to dunk on Ultimate and Sakurai and the dev team in Smash Bros. As there are people just relishing and enjoying Ultimate in one way or another, especially amidst over the 24+ million people that bought the game. Even back in Smash 4, I could say this is true for that game as well. And back in Smash 4, oh boy did Brawl set the catalyst for the weird newcomers for that game. Had some weird, yet understandable first-party add-ons that were still cool. Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, but then almost immediately starting out with Mega Man, a once dead IP for a while despite being a popular request. Even more cool first parties like Rosalina, Palutena, Robin, Greninja, Bowser Jr., bringing in PACMAN, that game's DLC, bringing back Mewtwo, the amount of hype that brought, Lucas and Roy 2, the even wilder third parties like Ryu, Bayonetta, and especially Cloud. Like, they were bound to interest a bunch of people even back when the Wii U was selling miserably, Smash fan and non-Smash fan alike. Just the scope they were going for with these characters both inside and outside Nintendo's library, only expanding exponentially come Ultimate, alongside giving us just more interesting characters gameplay-wise as well, focusing on even more hardcore fan favorites. Ridley, K. Rool, still pretty popular characters like Simon Belmont, Inkling, Isabelle, the Echoes like Ken and Daisy. All of this ringing even heavier with the DLC, Joker, Banjo and Kazooie, Hero, Terry, Minecraft Steve, Sephiroth, Kazuya, even the first parties, whether mildly accepted akin to some of the past first parties, or even from a gameplay perspective like Min Min, Pyra and Mythra, and even Byleth. Like, between Smash 4's newcomers, Ultimate's newcomers especially, and Ultimate bringing back every character, I'm sorry, I don't think that many people actually outright hate this game or the developers. I do think there are a ton of people who just love this game. Speaking for myself at least, right? There's so many cool characters in this game in one way or another. Oh my god. Like, if I was directing the next Smash game in like 10 years or something, right? I'm never going to be a game director. I'm literally just... it's a hypothetical. I would go for a reboot angle, redesign a bunch of the veterans and whatnot, make them feel more modern, but I would barely cut any of the characters. To put in perspective of my own idea I'm leaning towards as far as how much I love Ultimate and the characters Smash introduced, amidst the 87 characters we have before tomorrow, the only character I cut out of pure bias is probably Corrin. Maybe Piranha Plant for serving a one-and-done purpose as a jokey character. It's a standard Mario enemy, albeit I do respect what they were trying to go for. And I'm not trying to make grounds for a serious discussion regarding this either. Again, this is my bias speaking right now. I kind of talked about this too, in a more broader sense in one of my recent Smash videos, but I feel like other Fire Emblem characters are either more accepted, popular, or bring more interesting gameplay elements to the table. Again, the whole Fire Emblem controversy didn't really start or become mainstream until Corrin, and I do kind of sympathize with why. But beyond that bias, I love all the Mario characters we got. Rosalina and Bowser Jr. were sick newcomers. The main four with Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser, that's the staples right there. I even like Dr. Mario being there as well. Love having Ridley and Dark Samus there. Normal Samus and Zero Suit 2. Beyond Corrin, every Fire Emblem character I do like or have some respect for, if not both. Primarily Marth, Roy, Ike, and the Awakening characters. The Animal Crossing characters are cute. Having Banjo-Kazooie in Smash is cool as hell. Sephiroth's cool as hell. Cloud's cool as hell. Joker, Terry, Kazuya, the Belmonts are all cool as hell. Even veterans like Young Link, Meta Knight, Pichu, Mewtwo, Pokemon Trainer, Snake, Sonic, Pit, and Dark Pit. I've wanted K. Rool for a while, and was so happy he got in alongside the hard prediction I made that August Direct. I was playing Uprising before Palutena was announced in Smash 4, so you can imagine how excited I was when she got announced way back when. I'm really happy Min Min's the ARMS character we got. Yes, I'm 100% on board with having Min Min in the game, and how she plays. Love that she's here too. Like, so many of these guys and gals are either so cool having in Smash at all, cool mechanically, fun mechanically, funny mechanically, bringing some kind of rich history or gaming presence to Smash, whether for Nintendo or a third party. There's barely anyone I want to let go of down the road, to be honest. I'd likely be the guy who's just like, let's just keep building on it, sustain this ambition a little longer, you know? I'm that spoiled guy, I know. A part of me wishes it wouldn't end, because the ride literally was that fun, and Smash keeps raising that bar of ambition, history, and scope. We're also so close to 100 characters, and we have so many crazy-ass characters, I personally wouldn't mind keeping most of them. Redesigning the vets akin to a reboot angle, of course give it more development time to work and still have that roster even if it be more than normal, but also just keeping a lot of those characters because millions do love even just one of the 88 characters we have. Man, it's gonna be really hard letting a good chunk of them go once the new Smash game comes around, but that's the beauty of Ultimate. Even then, I can imagine Ultimate's gonna last at least another decade at this point, compared to how massive Melee's community is, and how it's been running strong for 20 years straight now, and the vast majority of that was solely from its competitive scene. Ultimate's the best of both casual and competitive fun, with the content it has, not even just the characters, plus its competitive meta is in such a really good spot right now. Adding this, plus how popular and successful it is, the Switch's install base, and even if that new Smash game comes, and especially if they cut a lot of characters, I think Ultimate's gonna last many years to come, to be honest. I love this game, bro. It's, oh my god, it's such a cool game. Such a cool roster. Circling back to the speculation side of it, even if you have your bad apples, we've all had some fun with it, I'd imagine, if not most of us. It's fun dreaming and thinking of what characters could come next. A lot of people still find people having those civil discussions, finding those people who have the same dream characters as you, just having fun in that dream and thinking about it, pondering the development process, figuring out either logically who could they add, or having those expectations swerved and subverted, like look at Ridley, Steve, or Banjo-Kazooie for example. We talk about and dread how worse speculation's gotten, because at the same time, there is fun and worth in that speculation as when done right. It's infamous and famous for a reason. It does bring the community together and drive up more excitement and love for Smash since it's that kind of game, amplified when some of those dream picks do come true. There is a bittersweet, sort of melancholy feeling to it, and I am gonna miss it, man. Especially with Ultimate bringing back everyone, and that'll likely never happen again with Smash. That just goes to show how big Smash is, and Smash has been one of my top favorite gaming franchises of all time alongside Mario. Absolutely love the series and all the games in it, man. I'm gonna miss it. Okay, done talking like an old man. And we have less than 24 hours until that final newcomer, so the anticipation's really ramping up. And Sakurai and Nintendo usually market and hype up a newcomer. They've been doing that with the DLC, like literally every character. But man, it feels even bigger with this one. Obviously because it's the last character, but listen. The official Smash Twitter tweeted the other day, translated, telling us about the presentation tomorrow, who the last character will be, who's it gonna be, but also, quote unquote, to let your imaginations run wild. You're telling Smash fans to let your imaginations run wild. And Sakurai also tweeted in English, encouraging both fans of Smash and those who simply just love games to join in, and to join in, quote, for one last celebration of gaming. The only time he ever said that was with Steve. I don't want to put words in Sakurai's mouth, or at least put too many. He has mentioned how he doesn't like that, and Smash fans do it all the time. But that doesn't, to me, imply some safe Nintendo character, like another Pokemon or a Bandana D or whatever. Granted, this is still Nintendo, and they 100% can still end this on Cinderace, or Paper Mario or whatever. I'd pop off if it's Paper Mario. But, with how much they're really hyping this up, more than the rest of the DLC, outright telling Smash fans and non-Smash fans to get excited, I don't know if they're really going to hit us with that safe curveball, man. I don't know. And so many different ideas and rumors have been tossed around lately, too. Sora's been the biggest one. He's also been a popular candidate for a pretty good while now. I'm iffy on it because we got Sephiroth as far as Square Enix characters for Fighters Pass 2. It's one of those patterns, but also a pattern that can easily break, but yeah. Sora will be hype. A celebration of gaming character that comes to my mind, though, Master Chief, that's another super hype one. Same kind of feelings I have with him compared to Sora. We did get Steve in FP2, but again, could still 100% happen, and that would be a big and great way to end it. Talked about Crash Bandicoot before, and still believe he'd be another good way to end it. I could list off more and more characters, it's just the way they're hyping it up that's making me anxious. It could literally be anyone at this point. It's just a guessing game for the next 17-ish hours. You guys know my top 3, though. My top 3 most wanted characters at this point, my dream picks. Waluigi, Dr. Eggman, and Shadow the Hedgehog. Man, I wish I got these 2 playable! Introduce the Echoes, and you don't even put Shadow in an Echo. Only one of them might pop in tomorrow. None of them might at all, though. With how much they've been hyping up this character, maybe they'll crack the Assist Trophy rule and end it on an Assist Trophy upgrade. I would imagine Waluigi, but it could be Shadow? I don't know. Dr. Eggman would still be another good way to end it. That kind of is another sort of gaming celebratory pick, I feel. I could go on and on as far as who the last character could be. It could be anyone. I am banking off what I said before the direct we just got, though. Either Eggman, Crash, or Waluigi. But I'm more wary of Sora and Master Chief too. But it could be someone I'm not thinking of at all too. That's how weird and hard it is to predict Smash characters, especially with Fighters Pass 2. And with how much hype they've been building up, a part of me's kind of buying the idea that Goku could happen. That's I don't think that's gonna happen, like, realistically, but like, dog, imagine if it did. I would pop off really hard if it was Goku. Goku would be hilarious and sick as hell, right? Crash, Eggman, or Waluigi. That's who I'm going with. The base expectations. Ooh, boy. Either way, we're reaching the final character and the end of Smash Ultimate's roster. We'll likely not get a new Smash game for at least like 5 to 7 years or something like that, but Smash brings a special type of entertainment, hype, and community most games don't, and it's been such a wonderful ride these past several years leading up to this. Only time will tell what Smash will be after this game, and time will tell what the last character is. But I am gonna miss that ride, man. Smash has meant so much to me since I started with Melee, and it's only gonna continue to grow even after tomorrow. Here's to a great presentation, and a great cap-off to the grandest Smash game. Boys and girls, guys and gals, see y'all tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful Monday, and stay super... Why is it at 10 in the morning? Oh man, why is it so early in the morning?
哟，嘿，妹妹，嘿，我来呀！共和大泡泡呀！拉面，嘿，来面，白哥面，共和再见呀！哈哈，拉面，炸手面，谢谢。